Vice President Shettima receives UNESCO delegation, affirms support for geoheritage sites development.
And I want to acknowledge the UNESCO IGGP NNC's alignment with our renewed hope agenda.
Ends a building collapse in sight as federal government introduces building code to ensure standards.
We are all demonstrating our determination to ensure that every Nigerian home, school, office, hospital, and place of assembly is built to specifications.
Also on the news, federal government set to release 2,000 tractors to bolster agricultural mechanization.
Tractors are not for decoration. Tractors are meant to work. And we will have trackers on these tractors to make sure that they are geofenced.
Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Lami Ali and we're live in Abuja, bringing you the latest stories and updates from across Nigeria. Tonight we have a packed broadcast for you. Adiola Kome-Akere joins us live from Lagos, giving us a glimpse into the latest developments from the commercial hub of Nigeria. From our business desk, Benny Adams brings you the latest market trends and financial news, keeping you informed about the economic landscape globally. So, Benny, what's up?
Well, if you care to listen, I tell you for free. This is the time to invest in Nigeria's capital market as the market continued to churn out the BS in the last few days.
And in our sports corner, Bade Adeleye brings you the key happenings in the sporting world. Anywhere, everywhere.
And of course, the 9th edition of the National Youth Games just began this evening with about 5,000 athletes competing.
So, catch us online at nta.ng/live. NTA is also on X as NTA News Now, and you can also follow us across other social media platforms. Our handles are displayed on the screen. Let's get started with tonight's broadcast. The federal government has affirmed commitment to unlocking the socio-economic potentials of Nigeria's geoheritage sites. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he received a delegation from UNESCO International Geoscience and Geoparks Program Nigeria, led by its chairman, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Isiaku, on a courtesy visit at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This meeting is reaffirmation of the Tinubu administration's efforts to explore the economic and developmental benefits of geoheritage sites for the betterment of the nation. Vice President Kashim Shettima commended Nigerian Geological Survey Agency and the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology for their respective roles in preserving Nigeria's geoheritage sites, encouraging the team to expand its geoscience coverage across Nigeria's geopolitical zones, assuring the delegation of sustained support for the committee's activities.
And I want to acknowledge the UNESCO IGGP NNC's alignment with our renewed hope agenda. And also recognize your council's, your committee's objectives in promoting sustainable geoscience development themes under climate change, earth resources, hydrogeology, geohazards, geodynamics, and geoheritage. But we are a young nation, and I will urge you to expand your coverage beyond Borno and Kebbi.
The committee is aligning itself with the President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda in ensuring climate resilience, among other goals, promising to raise public awareness on the benefits of geosciences.
We believe that our coming is the right time for us to come and share our objectives with the presidency and also seek, most importantly, subnational support. So that because all our work is eventually going to be done at the subnationals. So we believe that coming here is the right place for us to take our message.
the establishment of a national committee for Nigeria, 50 years after the establishment of the global body, has firmly placed the country within the International Geoscience Program framework. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security says it will soon release 2,000 tractors deployed by the federal government. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kari, says other incentives to boost mechanization and crop production will also be provided. Musa Baba Aliu reports.
On June 23, 2025, President Bola Tinubu inaugurated 2,000 tractors, including large and small harvesters and other implements in Abuja. Since the inauguration, farmers have been awaiting information on the procedure and how the heavy-duty farming equipment will be distributed. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, stated that the tractors are not meant for show.
Mr. President will soon give us the go-ahead to distribute. We'll come up with the financing structure that you will see that will be very, very attractive to the farmers. But one thing that we must make sure, tractors are not for decoration. Tractors are meant to work. And we will have trackers on these tractors to make sure that they are geofenced.
The minister was speaking to a group of farmers who visited the ministry seeking recognition, support, and partnership in the Nigeria Food Security Project.
And for the first time, Mr. President had given us 2,150,000 bags of fertilizer that we had given out across the country free of charge.
The chairman of Amana Farmers and Grain Suppliers Association of Nigeria, Haruna Ahmed, stated that the association would continue to support and collaborate with the ministry in all its activities, particularly in implementing laudable sustainable agriculture projects in the country. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the federal government, through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, has inaugurated a 21-man advisory committee for the National Building Code. Francis Udojo reports that the initiative is aimed at repositioning Nigeria's building and construction industry.
Nigeria's existing building code, practiced based on specifications given by different states, including the Federal Capital Territory, sometimes created variations that are contrary to standard. Therefore, the inauguration of the National Building Code Advisory Committee by the Minister of State for Housing is to come up with a guide in setting minimum standards on pre-design, design, construction, and post-construction stages, ensuring quality, safety, and proficiency in the building industry.
By inaugurating this committee, we are all demonstrating our determination to ensure that every Nigerian home, school, office, hospital, and place of assembly is built to specifications that guarantee safety, durability, and sustainability.
So I want to assure you that all the members I have here are my colleagues, and we will not disappoint you.
Stakeholders believe that the inauguration of the advisory committee will provide decisive directions in curbing cases of improper town planning, building collapse, use of untested materials, as well as the involvement of non-professionals in the building industry. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has cleared the air concerning agreements between the federal government of Nigeria and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, noting that the last formally signed and binding FGN-ASU agreement was in 2009. In 2017, the then Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, inaugurated a renegotiation committee which produced the draft of NIMI BRICS agreement in May 2021. However, this draft was never signed by the federal government. When the minister stated that there had been no new signed agreement with ASU, he was specifically referring to the 2021 Nimi Briggs draft, which remains unsigned, but serves as the most recent framework for discussions. Thus, the 2009 agreement remains the last signed document. The ministry reaffirms government's commitments to resolving the 16-year stalemate with ASU in a sustainable and constitutionally backed manner under the Renewed Hope agenda, while ensuring universities remain open. Stakeholders and the public are therefore urged to disregard May's interpretations as the federal government remains firm in its resolve. In a decisive and proactive move to strengthen accountability, Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Bashir Bayo Julari, has pledged unwavering commitments to upholding transparency and strict adherence to the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NATI) procedures, acknowledging the critical role of NATI in promoting open governance and curbing corruption in the extractive sector. Ojulari emphasized that compliance will ensure credible reporting and foster investor confidence. Lydia Sampson reports.
Point-blank interaction between NATI and NNPC Limited in Abuja indicates commitment that aligns with national efforts to enhance transparency, boost economic development, and protect public resources. NNPC Limited GCEU informed NATI management that the company is already restructuring internal processes and framework towards ensuring accuracy in information contained in its monthly reports.
You saw the mandate we got from the president around when we were appointed, around growing oil production to 3 million barrels per day by 2030, growing gas production to minimum of 20 billion cubic feet per day by again 2030. Our aspiration is to beat that target for us to be able to achieve those kind of numbers. And we are committed to drive those transformations in partnership with all the other operators that we work with and also partnership with government.
NATI Executive Secretary Dr. Oji Obonai Oji commended Ojulari's resolve, viewing it as a positive step towards sustainable management of Nigeria's extractive resources and enhanced corporate governance.
Has applauded these developments as evidence of bold reforms under this administration, which NATI has supported with credible information and data. These investments and reforms can only be sustained in a stable, transparent, and competitive environment where NNPC operates with accountability and efficiency.
They committed to boosting investors' confidence through the provision of regular, accurate, and timely financial reports. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And all is now set for the Rivers State local government elections scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday. Robinson Deraitaide brings us an overview and expectations from the election.
A local government election for 30th August 2025 was necessitated by the nullification of the local government election of 5th October 2024 by the Supreme Court on the grounds that it did not meet the mandatory 90 days electoral provision. Since the announcement of the date under the sole administrator, political gladiators have been expressing reservations.
I know for sure that the elections come tomorrow will be peaceful and will be credible.
I strongly believe it's a nullity because the provision of the Electoral Act states there that it's supposed to be a window of 90 days.
In this election, only 3 PDP candidates are contesting chairmanship, while APC is contesting for 20 seats. The state's electoral umpire and security agencies are carrying out last-minute preparations for a hopefully free and fair elections.
We have received assurances from the security agencies that adequate personnel have been deployed across the 23 local government areas to guarantee the safety of voters, election officials, and materials.
In less than 24 hours, 3.5 million registered voters from 6,866 polling units will determine the next grassroots leaders in Rivers State. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deraitaide, NTA News.
Still on the highly anticipated local government elections in Rivers State, joining us to continue the conversation via Zoom on the Latest updates on preparations and expectations from the Rivers election is our correspondent Kingsley Amajiri, who is at Uzoma Road there in Port Harcourt. Hello, Kingsley. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Would like to bring you up-to-date developments with respect to this election in Rivers State. I will start by saying that this election, up to the moment, there have not been any reported incident with respect to elections. You know, when they talk about elections in Rivers State, we usually anticipate violence, but this time around there have not been any reported incident of violence. Aside that, the State Electoral Commission chairman also gave an update indicating that both sensitive materials and non-sensitive materials have been completely distributed to all the 23 local government councils in the state. And for the residents, the state government also had made a strategic effort to ensure that it will the electorate to participate actively in this election by today. The government declared that civil servants should close by 12 o'clock in the afternoon today and go home, so that it will enable many residents to travel to their various country homes to participate in this process. And when we also visited the jetties, the parks, we also saw quite a number of persons who are enthusiastic to be part of the process of selecting the next set of leadership travel to their country home. But that does not imply that there are also not those who are not also disenchanted with the process. There are being also concerns, not without, but when we say there are concerns, these are peaceful concerns expressed by those who are dissatisfied with the processes. And we also like to inform you that those who also have expressed discontent with the processes have also filed suits at various courts to challenge the process. But in any case, there are also those who have expressed their willingness to participate actively in tomorrow's election. So far, the city has remained calm, and people have been going about their legitimate businesses. And of course, the state police also has also declared that from midnight of today, Saturday, till 6 p.m., there will be restriction of movement to ensure that this election is conducted in a peaceful atmosphere in line with the set rules for this upcoming local council elections.
Thank you so much, Kingsley, for that update. And now to security matters. The federal government has taken another step to strengthen private sector resilience in curbing terrorism across the country. Coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamulaka, says government efforts are directed towards scaling up non-kinetic strategies and private sector participation in its whole-of-society approach of tackling insecurity in Nigeria. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
This forum is typical of the federal government's drive in curbing terrorism in the country. The presence of multi-stakeholders signifies the role of the civilian population in this agenda. The goal is to strengthen resilience in the private sector participation and the whole of government and society approach in tackling insecurity, a key component of the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy 2026, which is being reviewed.
We consider this dialogue as the beginning of a strategic partnership, one where government and the private sector jointly safeguards Nigeria's markets and communities.
To achieve these objectives through this platform, the center seeks to raise awareness on the policy framework and national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism and its relevance to business continuity, develop a framework for private sector collaboration, and establish a lasting platform for dialogue between the center and the private sector.
We are not left to seek international support alone, that our vibrant private sector has the ability and has what it takes to be able to support these youths. Our acts of negligence could lead to us holding ourselves responsible.
We fully support this initiative and will mobilize our resources to ensure that your noble objectives are achieved.
The reviewed National Counter-Terrorism Strategy awaits final ratification and launch later this year. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center has apprehended key actors behind a fake National Identity Management Commission website following a petition submitted to the Inspector General of Police by the Director General of the Commission. Francis Form reports that the suspects were accused of unauthorized access, distribution and commercialization of personally identifiable information of Nigerians.
14 domains were identified by NIMC, which the process was. When we verified the name, when we conducted our investigations, we discovered that they were all malicious.
Investigations by the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center uncovered a sophisticated syndicate operating through multiple illicit online platforms, interfacing with the National Identity Database, and through intelligence. The suspects were arrested in Kwara and Lagos states. The police also confirmed that the illegal domains have been successfully deactivated, while efforts are being intensified to track down other accomplices linked to the crime.
The Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center was able to achieve this great feat through the use of digital forensic techniques, which aided in identifying the threat actors and domains involved in this unlawful sale and verification of NIN-linked PPI.
NIMC reiterates and also continues to urge Nigerians to avoid patronizing unauthorized agents or business centers and to access NIN services only through approved enrollment centers.
The NIMC Director General emphasized that the Commission remains steadfast in protecting the integrity of Nigeria's national identity database. Francis Form, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Air Force is sharpening its edge with precision, discipline, and a firm commitment to prioritizing civilian harm mitigation as a core mission objective in modern military operations. This was the message of the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, to the training on civilian harm mitigation in air operations at the Air Warfare and Doctrine Center in Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello has the details.
The Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan, CHMRAP, is a strategic initiative launched by the Nigerian Air Force in 2025 to institutionalize civilian protection in air operations, embed international humanitarian law principles, and build trust with communities. Key components include rigorous training for personnel, the establishment of a dedicated CHMR board and response unit, and the integration of technology to reduce collateral damage and improve accountability.
The department will serve as a hub and facilitator of NAF-wide training and analysis of civilian protection, thereby institutionalizing best practices for harm mitigation and response during operation.
Your commander would have been here either in the first or second batch of this program, so you all be speaking the same language, all aimed at making sure that we minimize and eliminate civilian harm.
Civilian harm mitigation and IHL training do not weaken a professional military, they strengthen it.
Effective CMR helps improve intelligence gathering, community support, and operational effectiveness, especially in internal security and counter-insurgency operations. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Now, aside the Digital First initiative and the quest to enhance content, harassment, intimidation, and general welfare of media workers, especially those of NTA staff, are concerns the new Director General, Rotimi Pedro, will have to contend with. These concerns were raised when the chairman of NUJ and Ratau NTA chapters met with the new management. The assurances to address every issue raised and strengthen industrial relationship from NTA management were heartwarming, according to Charles Alpha. And here is the report.
Come rain or shine, these media workers remain steadfast in their mission. From camera operators and editors to anchors and field reporters, they work tirelessly, often through the night, to keep the nation informed while others sleep. Despite their critical role, many media professionals continue to face poor welfare conditions, limited protection, and operational challenges that hinder their ability to perform effectively. It is within this context that the concerns of media unions such as the Nigerian Union of Journalists and RATAW have grown increasingly urgent. Their engagement with NTA's new management here is a push for reforms that prioritize the well-being, safety, and professional dignity of those who serve the public through journalism. From welfare, incentives, and improved remuneration to harassment and intimidation of NTA staff, the union chairman NTA headquarters laid bare the issues.
DJ, we also will want you to, amongst your plans, to please take staff welfare as a priority, as it were.
Issue of harassment of our staff has become a recurring decimal. We had one in Maiduguri some times ago when our reporter was attacked during court coverage, and then just yesterday, our reporter went to the incident where we had a train derailment, and she got the worst of her life.
Again, new on the job, but not so new to the system. The DG, Rotimi Pedro, before this engagement, as he puts it, was already engaging his management on how to improve welfare, develop NTA content house, and other issues raised by the union leaders.
Over the years, I believe NTA has focused too much, particularly on kit, equipment. It's now to turn it around to a content house. A content house meaning that people, not just the equipment, and to get the right people to operate the equipment and to get the best output out of NTA would mean a good union, in a good industrial relationship. And I think there's a foundation, a strong foundation to build on that. So I believe in that totally, and the management which I lead now would reflect that in the whole thing. The welfare is also quite key.
As for support and delivery of the Digital First Initiative, members of these unions are reassured that they are more than ready to make it happen. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The campaign to end tuberculosis in Nigeria received a major boost as the Stop TB Partnership Nigeria convened a review meeting and inaugurated its Jigawa State chapter. The initiative, which is one of the pet projects of Nigeria's First Lady and Global TB Ambassador, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is in collaboration with the wife of the Jigawa State Governor and State TB Ambassador, Hajia Hadiza Umar Namadi. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
The event, held at the banquet hall of the Government House in Dutse, brought together critical stakeholders in the health sector, including development partners like the World Health Organization. At the meeting, stakeholders emphasized the ongoing efforts to curb TB through intensified awareness campaigns, preventive measures, and curative solutions designed to eradicate the disease both in Jigawa and across Nigeria. Wife of the Jigawa State Governor, Hajia Hadiza Umar Namadi, said the Stop TB Partnership will serve as a catalyst for high-level advocacy, strategic planning, and resource mobilization.
Heartfelt appreciation to Her Excellency, Mother of the Nation, for her national leadership in championing health initiatives that place women, children, and families as a center of development.
With a shared commitment to work together, health partners pledged renewed support to strengthen Jigawa's health system and contribute towards ending TB and other fatal diseases in the state.
With collective action, innovation, and unwavering dedication, this is a disease that we can all defeat together.
The Stop TB Partnership Nigeria says, with the increased awareness, stronger collaboration, and sustained investment, tuberculosis will soon be a disease of the past in Jigawa and across Nigeria. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu felicitates with engineer Olainka Hakim Babalola on his historic election as president of Rotary International for the 2026-2027 term. As the second African and Nigerian to hold this esteemed position, the president says Babalola's achievement is a testament to his unwavering dedication to service, philanthropy and humanitarian causes. President Tinubu notes that Babalola's elevation will no doubt inspire millions of Nigerians, particularly the younger generation, demonstrating that vision, integrity and the passion for service can lead to global recognition and transformative change. The president assures Babalola of the government's support and encouragement in championing humanitarian causes, fostering international partnerships and promoting the spirit of service to humanity. Diola joins us live from Lagos with the latest news making the rounds from that zone. Hello, Diola, you're on.
Thank you for joining us in Lagos. With about 80% completion, the first phase of the renewed Hope City in Ibeju, Lekki, Lagos is almost ready for inauguration, with the groundbreaking of the second phase by President Bola Tinubu scheduled for September. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, at an inspection tour of the project, and the Lagos Free Trade Zone notes that the 200 hectares building materials hub to be sited within the economic zone will reduce capital flight. Joel Popola reports.
Apart from targeting reduction of housing deficit with the 2,000 units apartments in the renewed Hope City, the ripple effect of the project is noticeable, with massive construction work in the real estate sector in Ibeju, Lekki and environ. Access roads and other key infrastructure have been developed for housing and economic activities to gain traction in the area. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, having assessed the level of work on the legacy project, describe it as an attestation to the commitment of the current administration to provision of affordable housing.
Currently, we have over getting to 700 houses that are on ground, and then the phase 2 has already commenced, and during the groundbreaking, we'll start the last phase that makes it the 2,000 houses. Within a couple of weeks, the contractor is going to round up for the phase 1 of this Ibeju Lekki project.
On the 200 hectares building materials hub to be sited within the Lekki Free Trade Zone, the minister knows that this will prune down the cost of construction in the real estate industry.
Going to reduce the housing deficit that we're having, ensuring that local building materials are manufactured locally is going to create a lot of jobs.
For those desirous of owning an apartment at the renewed Hope City, Federal Mortgage Bank has simplified the process.
They are very, very affordable. They are going for 90 million. It's on a mortgage to contribute an NHF contribution of 2.5% of your gross salary each month. For 6 months, it enables you, that is the eligibility criteria.
Accompanied by Permanent Secretary and other senior officials of the ministry, the minister inspected the ongoing development on the 16,500 hectares Lekki Free Trade Zone, assuring that the housing needs of the economic zone will be addressed. In Lagos, Joel Ukbola, NTA News.
As the nation is repositioning itself in the maritime sector with the creation of the blue economy, the impact of war risks insurance charges on Nigerian-bound cargo vessels is staggering. Maritime reporters of Nigeria, maritime experts and other stakeholding agencies are brainstorming on ways to mitigate such risk. Larry Bilay has details.
Piracy, armed conflicts, terrorist acts birth the war risk insurance. It is an additional surcharge imposed by international shipping companies on cargo bound for destinations perceived to be high-risk zone in maritime territories. With the increased security activities along the Gulf of Guinea, Nigeria is no longer on the list of high-risk zones but still pays war risk insurance.
Changing security dynamics in Nigeria's maritime environment and the Gulf of Guinea warranted the Nigerian Navy to devise and implement strategies to support our policing efforts. This involves acquisition of modern state-of-the-art platforms and collaboration with other maritime stakeholders
The question on the lips of these maritime reporters and experts: why the reluctance of shipping companies to remove these surcharges that has become a financial burden to the sector? According to NIMASA, Nigeria has paid over $1.5 billion premium in 3 years alone due to war risk insurance surcharges. What then is the way out?
We want to ensure that Nigerians begin to carry Nigerian cargoes, be it import or export. And the way to go about that is to build indigenous capacity, to empower Nigerian ship owners through single-digit financing.
Nigerians to own ships, not just any ship, but ocean-going ships that can carry our goods from Nigeria abroad and from abroad to Nigeria.
This is the third in the series of Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria annual lecture, not only discussing salient issues in the maritime sector, but preferring ways forward. In Lagos, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. The network news will continue with Benny Adams on the business segment when we return from this break.
Good to know you're where you should be at this time. It's that time we talk business. And we'll start from the Treasury House, where the Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Shamsuddin Ogunjimi, says Nigeria stands on the threshold of far-reaching reforms under the newly enacted Tax Reform Act, which is expected to reshape the country's fiscal landscape, enhance revenue generation, and block leakages in the system. Dr. Ogunjimi made this known when he received a delegation of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, led by its president, Innocent Ohagwa, in Abuja. The Accountant General assured the delegation that their request for the creation of a career path for the tax professionals with an entry point at grade level 10 would be presented to the head of service of the Federation. He emphasized that tax professionals deserve recognition in the same manner as lawyers, medical practitioners, and veterinary doctors in the nation's civil service. Talking trade at this time, the U.S. administration on Friday ended the duty-free imports of packages worth less than $800, known as a de minimis exemption, a decision that increases cost for retailers around the world selling to the U.S. and will likely cause prices to rise for American shoppers. With this, the administration has expanded a decision in May to impose tariffs on these shipments from China and Hong Kong, affecting retailers such as Shein and Temu, which primarily ship from China. Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom are the next biggest senders, hence the most affected at this time. And back home, let's look at the stock market, where at the end of last week, day of trading on the Nigerian exchange, investors lost again 165.61 billion naira as market capitalization fell to 88.77 trillion naira. A total of 435.1 million shares in 25,573 shares corresponding to a market value of 10.386 billion were traded. Today's data shows 51% decline in volume, 63% decline in turnover, and 2% decline in deals. On the aggregate, 128 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 19 gainers and 31 losers. And looking at the numbers there, the stocks to go for as a wise investor is the losers. They lose today, they gain tomorrow. That is it on business at this time. Lami, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. Now, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo says his administration is focused on prioritizing productive investments over transit consumption. The governor stated this while addressing journalists at the Lighthouse Oka as the state marks 34 years since its creation. Correspondent Ndem Kalu completes the report.
Created in 1991 under the military regime, Anambra, under the leadership of Governor Soludo, within 3 years in office, is undergoing developmental transformation.
Despite being the second smallest state in Nigeria by landmass, we have produced some of the nation's brightest minds, successful entrepreneurs, and visionary leaders. From our bustling commercial hubs to our academic institutions, From our innovative industries to our rich cultural heritage, Anambra has remained on the rise.
Paying tributes to the founding fathers of the state for their sacrifices and highlighting some of his achievements contained in his 5 pillars of governance, the governor stated that his focus is on long-term sustainable development.
Our mantra is doing more with less. We're prioritizing things, and I promised in the Anambra, an assumption of office, that every naira that you put in my palms, I will show you where it's been put to use, to productive use.
He urged citizens to work collaboratively, reinforcing that building Anambra is a collective effort, thereby achieving a livable and prosperous homeland. From the Government House, Oka, Ndemkalo, NTA News.
Gone but not forgotten, the life and scholarly works of a poet, Christopher Okigbo, came to light as guests converged on Abuja to pay tribute to the literary giant in a commemorative event marking his induction into UNESCO Memory of the World Register. Juliana Nicholas put together this report on the power of literature that has continued to inspire and influence writers.
Christopher Okigbo, a Nigerian poet born in 1932 in Anambra State, died during the Nigerian Civil War. Yet, his work still lives on. At this event organized by the Christopher Okigbo Foundation in collaboration with UNESCO and the National Council for Arts and Culture to commemorate his legacy, a series of presentations and discussions on the importance of preservation and impact on Nigeria's cultural heritage has taken center stage.
Christopher Okigbo represents literature, represents poetry, represents the culture and heritage of this country in diverse ways.
Okigbo had created character, that is the poet speaker, to undergo the journey in the poetry.
I believe that tenacity is something that the young people should be encouraged to emulate.
Christopher Okigbo Foundation was set up with the aim of promoting the legacy and the works and life of Christopher Okigbo the poet. It's part of art. So we are commemorating that event today. So we want government to put more money in arts. Art is life.
To me, there's no casket for the writer. So Okigbo is alive. Okigbo is well remembered from the parts of thunder.
Literary experts and advocates of culture believe that this will bridge the gap in cultural literacy by promoting dialogue and advancing collective memory as reflected in Okigbo's words. Today for tomorrow. Today becomes yesterday. If I don't learn to shut my mouth, I'll soon go to hell. I, Okigbo, town crier, together with my iron bell. A poet of grand standing, Christopher Okigbo was inducted into the UNESCO Memory of World Register in 2006.
It's time to talk sports on Network News Tonight. Now, the 9th edition of the National Youth Games was formally declared open earlier this evening at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State. Representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the special advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, who performed the official opening. And of course, it was witnessed by government dignitaries, sports administrators, and thousands of spectators. Over 7,000 athletes and officials from across the country are participating in what is the largest gathering since the inception of the Games.
That they continue to invest in sports, invest in our sportsmen and women, and support sports development in our country.
Moving on, the FCT Kung Fu Association has unveiled plans to develop the sport in the territory. Chairman of the association, Mustafa Mubdiu Adebayo, while addressing sports reporters in Abuja on Friday, revealed he plans to create more awareness for the sport, source more funding and sponsorships, while also organizing tournaments and training camps.
My major focus is to give visibility to the sports, because I am sure there are so many persons, if you ask them if they know anything about Kung Fu, they may tell you they don't, or they have not even seen where one is being practiced. By the time I'm done, or possibly we're going to set a projected time for Nigeria to be able to present athletes in this sport to compete at global level, probably at the Olympics.
Let's let you know that Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle has released the final 23-man squad for the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and South Africa. The squad includes a mix of established and promising players. Notable inclusions are goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, who made the list despite a recent injury scare, and emerging talents like Felix Agu and Benjamin Fredericks. The team will host Rwanda on September the 6th in Uyo before traveling to Bloemfontein to face South Africa on September the 9th. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's now return to Lami.
And that also ends the network news. We thank you for being a part of it.